Hello everyone! Welcome to the first check-in of Costa Rica. I am so freaking, I don't even know, like pumped to be making this video because I still can't believe, like, I'm here. It's real. It is now officially, let me check the Miku calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Today is my 18th day in Costa Rica. I know that this is Plátano merudo. I couldn't understand a single bit of that until I heard plátano merudo and I was like, I just decided to close my window because even though it's technically quieter than it is in New Jersey, it's also louder in a different way because there's constantly dogs barking, but not as much like people talking and cars going by. It's mostly just the dogs and random sounds like that. But I just closed my window for you guys. You guys better say thank you because in about 5 minutes I'm gonna have the FNAF 6 overheating death. I'm not joking with the FNAF reference. I have to basically every few minutes turn the camera off so I can take an AC break because it is so hot. I know this is supposed to be like an end of the month video, but if I start recording at the end of the month, I'm not going to be able to post it by the end of the month. So this is kind of like a halfway through January check-in, but the next one will be more of like a month since the last video, so it's okay. Everything's fine. I am so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be learning. Don't feel like I've learned as much as I could have, but I think I spent ever since I've been learning Spanish, I've been like having a hard time speaking in English, and that's kind of a good thing because that means I'm speaking a lot of Spanish, but like sometimes I'm forgetting like simple grammar that I've known my entire life in English. So if I say something wrong, please forgive me. I think I spent the first few weeks doing a lot of fun stuff and not really focusing on learning the language. But this past week, I've been trying a lot harder. I literally started writing in my notebook like 20 words a day and using them in various sentences, kind of the way that you're taught English as a kid in school. That was literally the connection I made. I was like, okay, this is how they taught us vocab in school when I was a kid. I can probably apply it the same way with Spanish, so that's what I've been doing as well. Been watching tons of Spanish content like El Chavo de Ocho and Bob Esponja. I also got some books to read. The first book is Easy Rosto, I think. Rosto, and I cannot understand more than half this book. It is very difficult, but I'm going to try. I'm also reading El Principito, and that one's also really hard. They're both books that I can barely understand, but I think it'll help me learn. I've done a lot of fun stuff. I went to Waterfall Colón de Mora, which I already posted a video about. It's only 5 minutes, so definitely worth a watch. I went to Jaco for a weekend with my friends where I actually learned how to surf. Honestly, that was freaking awesome because it was really fun and I was really good at it. I think because I know how to skateboard, that probably helped a lot with the balancing aspect. We unfortunately didn't get that many videos. There's only one video of me surfing and it was like one of the first runs, so it's a very small wave and it's not that impressive. But by the end of the hour, because it was surfing lessons, the guy that was teaching me told me that I was pretty good at it. I was kind of getting tired of like waiting for him to come back to help me onto the wave. So I asked him to teach me how to do it myself and I did a few waves by myself, which was pretty awesome. And I want to do it again. Jaco was also beautiful. There was a lot more nature there. I saw macaws flying in the morning at some point, and that was actually the highlight of the trip for me. I went hiking yesterday for about 3 hours. That's gonna be its own video. I think I'm gonna do like a silent travel vlog. Not silent, but just like no voiceover, just because there's not really much to voice over. It would just be covering the sounds of the forest. Aside from that, you guys had some questions for me about Costa Rica, so I'm gonna go ahead and read those. I'm gonna be doing my best to reply in Spanish. I will say, after 3 weeks of being here, my Spanish is not that much better. It definitely is better, but noticeably, I'm not sure. I did ask you guys for your questions in English this time because I wanted more people to be able to participate. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll say the question in English and I'll put a translation at the bottom. And then I will say the answer in Spanish with a translation at the bottom so that both my Spanish and English viewers can enjoy this segment. I'm gonna go ahead and read your questions. Best thing you've had to eat. Yo no sé porque hay muchas cosas aquí que son muy rico. Yo no puedo elegir favoritos es uno de mis, ¿cómo se dice? Weakness. Yo voy a te digo muchas cosas que eran muy rico aquí. Yo tenía una acai bowl en Jaco y era muy rico y un poco caro, pero muy rico. Yo tenía un plato de arroz con cerdo. Me encanta cerdo, es uno de mis comidas favoritas. Solo fue 5,000 colones y 5,000 colones es $10 en los Estados Unidos. Así la comida era muy barato y por esa razón era más rico. Los dos son las comidas mejores que yo tuve. How long are you going to stay? By the way, I hope you enjoy this country as much as I do. Yo voy a quedar aquí para 4 meses. Yo no sé cómo hablar en el futuro. Yo voy a salir en mayo. Así yo tengo 4 más meses o 3 y media. How is it adjusting to life in CR? With balancing school, work, and still having fun. Me encanta Costa Rica mucho. Es muy divertido y hay muchas cosas que tú puedes hacer, pero sí, es un poco difícil para hacer mi tarea y mi trabajar, que es, yo no sé cómo se dice, pero grabando un video para social media. Es muy difícil para juggle. Yo no sé muchas palabras, así es muy difícil para te digo que yo quiero decir. Pero sí, es muy difícil para hacer todo de las cosas yo quiero hacer, pero es muy divertido y estoy feliz aquí. Do they know about Big Chungus there? Yo lo pregunté a mi hermano Tico y él me mostró esta. Ellos saben pelota. What's the climate like there? La clima aquí es muy diferente de los Estados Unidos. Cuando me despierto en la mañana hace un poco frío, pero no es frío. Es frío como no es calor. Y tú puedes usar una suéter. En la tarde hace mucho calor. Y en la noche hace frío otra vez. Es un poco como... Did you see coyotes and their perfect little L-tails? No, yo no vi los coyotes, pero yo quiero porque yo recuerdo cuando yo conocí a un coyote en una tienda de los animales exóticos. Animales exóticos. Y yo pude, hold uno y era muy lindo, fue muy lindo. Me encantan los cotamundis, pero yo vi un mapache. Era muy flaco. Los mapaches aquí son muy flacos y es muy interesante porque yo solo vi los mapaches en los Estados Unidos que son gordos. How do you feel about living temporarily in Costa Rica? Me encanta Costa Rica. Es muy divertido. Es una cambia muy buena. Es muy buena para mi mente. Es muy buena para mi salud. Yo camino todos los días. Es muy divertido y es muy bonito. Me encanta la comida. Me encanta la gente o casi todos de la gente. Los hombres son un poco extraños. Pero es muy divertido aquí. Me gusta mi tiempo aquí ahora y estoy muy emocionado para vivir aquí por más tiempo. I actually did a little bit better on that than I did last time, I think. I was a little less nervous and a little more put together, I feel. That is one of the things that I have really liked about living here is that I'm constantly surrounded by the opportunity to speak Spanish. And while I'm here, I've given myself the mindset of I'm here to learn. So if I don't take every opportunity to speak Spanish, then literally what am I doing with myself? So I try to speak Spanish every opportunity I get with the family, at a grocery store, with my American friends. Speaking of, but I really just try and take every opportunity that I can because what else am I here for, you know? Some of my favorite things about living in Costa Rica are obviously the myriad of opportunities to speak Spanish, so that's really good for learning the language, but also the views. On my walk home, I can literally see the mountains in the distance every day. I also love the wildlife here and the plants. I find it so interesting that there's a lot of plants here that just grow naturally outside and in people's backyards that were literally sold at home in the United States as houseplants. I see a lot of snake plants in people's yards. I see tons of snake plants in people's yards. Lots of monsteras, all different kinds of monsteras. Lots of palms, lots of tradescantia. It's just crazy. And some of them look like they're not even taken care of. Like they're just growing out there naturally and they're fine. I've also been seeing these small groups of these little green parrots in San Jose. And they're so cute and they're so full of personality, which is just like so cool because they fly around in little groups and they're literally like this big. I love the way the architecture is. Like all of the houses have a gate in front of them before you can even enter the house, and I actually love that. Like I like the safety of it. I feel very secure in my home. I love that tons of the houses have dogs or cats. I don't love that a lot of the dogs and cats are able to roam free, but to be fair, it kind of seems like the animals are used to this way of life here. I haven't seen roadkill a single time since I've been here. I just realized that right now. I have not seen roadkill a single time. The dogs and cats here seem to be very aware of like where the sidewalk ends, which is actually pretty cool. If my dog ever got out of my house, he would just run down the street, and he has done it before. So one of the main things that I don't like is the men, and obviously I don't mean all of them, but what I will say is there's basically like a half-mile radius around my home where I feel safe to walk by myself, and until like 5 o'clock. After then, or past then, the men are insanely weird, and it doesn't matter what you're wearing. One of the main things I heard before coming here was people are gonna stare at you because you look like a tourist. Like that's just how it is. You look like a tourist. And while that is partially true, I have noticed that it is not because I'm a tourist, it is because I'm a woman. The reason I know this is because the women do not even double glance at me. I don't feel stared at all by the women. People here are still pretty diverse, even though it's less diverse than the United States. Not every Costa Rican person is super tan. There are a lot of Costa Rican people that are from here that have my complexion. So I haven't really felt like being white has made me stand out. I don't really feel like I stand out until I start speaking English. But what I will say is that almost every man that I walk by does one of these. It is kind of miserable. That is one of the things that I hate, because it's kind of like walking through New York City. They also will not be afraid to say something to you. I had one man say something like, "Tu culito es muy lindo," and like that day I cried, because that was the first time that happened to me. Well, not like ever, but like that was the first time that happened to me here, and it was my first week. I was in an unfamiliar area. I was on the way to a clinic because I had stabbed myself with a staple in the finger. So I was already stressed because I had to go get a tetanus shot, and I was terrified of the tetanus shot. And then I have a man walking by me doing the fluoride stare at me like this. It was just horrible. Another guy said something like, "Que guapa, en serio," and that one wasn't so bad, but it's just, there's a lack of respect for women especially. So that part is a little rough, but as long as you stay with a group of people, it's usually fine. I've really only had that experience when I'm out by myself and I'm in a very sketchy area, but otherwise, fine. The only other thing that I don't like, let me think of something I don't like. The only other thing I don't like is being an American student amongst other American students. It's very hard to make friends with both other American students and Costa Rican students. Obviously, people that live here in Costa Rica aren't really gonna want to be friends with a foreigner, especially a foreigner who can barely speak the language. And the American students don't really want to speak Spanish all the time. So it's kind of hard to find a middle ground, because I don't want to be alone, but the more time I spend around the other American students, the less time I'm getting to practice Spanish. So it is kind of a give and take, I'm hoping that when my Spanish gets a little better, maybe I'll be able to make a friend with a Costa Rican student. When we all get a little bit better at Spanish, the other American students will want to speak Spanish a little more too. But right now it's a little hard because I don't want to spend all my time alone in my room studying, but I don't want to be spending a ton of time around American students who are only speaking English and sacrificing precious time to be learning the language. So that is another thing that's been kind of hard. One thing that I find a little bit difficult is spending money. It's not even like I'm being crazy. Like, I'm not really buying a lot. The most that I buy is food and like small little trinkets once in a while. To be fair, I did buy this in Hako. But tell me that wasn't worth $12. I love this thing. I'm not gonna feel bad about it. I would honestly say the food is a big part of it. My program only comes with breakfast and dinner, so I'm buying my own lunches every day. That does kind of add up, but I have been trying really hard to keep track of my finances. I save every receipt I get and I put it in a bin, and at the end of the week I put it in a spreadsheet to keep track of all my money. For the amount of things I've gotten to do, I haven't spent a lot of money, but I'm the kind of person who stresses about money a lot, so I feel like I'm spending way too much money when in reality I'm actually doing pretty good for the amount of things I've gotten to do. So that is just like one stressor, but that I really don't feel like has to do with Costa Rica. Like, that's just financial issues. Otherwise, I don't really have a lot of complaints. I was really worried about bugs being a problem, and they're kind of not at all. I've gotten bitten by mosquitoes, I think maybe twice this entire time. I've only gotten sunburned once. I really don't have much to complain about. It's just really nice here, and I've had a really good time. One thing that I'm really excited for is I'm going to have my first summer birthday, because my birthday is February 21st. I'm gonna be turning 22, and I'm gonna be basically spending a birthday with no snow, which is kind of insane because every birthday I've ever had has been in the cold. So this is gonna be very interesting. I'm still not sure what I want to do. I kind of want to go to a wildlife center. I think for a lot of people it doesn't really seem like an optimal way to spend a birthday, but for my birthday it just seems so like perfect. I think there's a wildlife center in La Fortuna where you can also go to a waterfall. I think that would be a perfect birthday for me to like go to a wildlife research center or a wildlife rehabilitation center and also get to swim. Like, that just sounds awesome to me. I have a little tres leches for my birthday cake. Like, that sounds peak, okay? Like, I have to do that. Okay, my camera just overheated. That's never happened to me before, so that freaked me out a little bit. So I'm gonna get this intro done fast. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this first January check-in. These next few clips are basically just gonna be some of the clips from my travels. Stuff that I either taken after recording this video or that I wasn't able to fit into its own video, haven't been able to squeeze in anywhere else. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you soon. Bye everyone. It's very interesting. It doesn't taste like a coconut. Like at all. Nope, not at all. Did you hear that? Did you not just hear it? No. It was going beautiful, beautiful. Vamos a ir al museo. Vamos a ir al Museo Nacional de Costa Rica.